Good morning, and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm David Lake, D Lake for Prez. Thank you. I normally get an applause right there.
I'm over
Well, I'm joined this morning by the Media Speaks very own No Scare 515, Kyle Phillips. Kyle, how's it going?
pretty wonderful. That I deserve that for not being on the sound effects. I'm dealing with a new setup, and so
Yeah.
everything seems to be right when I hit live, all of a sudden I start hearing like white noise. It's like, where's that coming from? I don't know, but we'll deal with it.
Can
Thanks
we
for having
get
me
a
on.
Can we get that overhead shot of you, Kyle?
The overhead shot.
Sure.
Let
Yeah,
me
so
let me
people can
go
get
to it
a
really
glimpse.
quickly. Yeah, I mean the new setup's dope, but it's just whenever whenever you reset stuff up, everything's gonna go wrong.
There he
So
is.
that's the overhead shot,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by like 150 monitors and
Soundboard and all your little necessities that you need there. It's pretty fresh, dude. I like it.
I wouldn't say need, but like.
Now, Kyle, to me that looks like a pretty professional, real new studio that you have going there. And I wanted to start today's show this morning talking about real news versus fake news. And I'm sure people are familiar with websites like The Onion. But Kyle, can you talk just a little bit about fake news and being duped by fake news stories? Just
Yeah, and you said that you wanted to play a game and you didn't even have to really explain what the game was. I'm pretty sure I understand what it's gonna be, but there's these fake websites popping up, they're pretty much like the Onion, but what the Onion does is they go so ridiculous that it's obvious that it's fake. On top of the fact that majority of people this day and age know what the Onion is, so they know what they're getting into. But these new ones, they put these real sounding stories on real seeming websites, but then you go to the about page and it'll just say one sentence somewhere oh, nothing on this page is real. And what a lot of them will even do is
hidden in the
they'll set
about
up.
section and hidden 10 paragraphs down in the about section or something like that.
Yeah, and some of them they'll set up an entire fucking website, and all the rest of the website is real news stories that they stole from other websites, and just for one of them to be fake, and so that if you go search the rest of the website, it looks legit.
All right. I don't know what's going on, but your thing sounds like it's a little skippy to me. I don't know if it's coming through that way.
Does
But
it?
let me switch to yeah. I don't know if it's your all the computers you got in there. But Kyle, I came across a story last night, and first I went to it. I'm going to screen share. First, I went to the story on a link from Facebook that a 16-year-old girl claims that former President Bill Clinton is her father. And there's a
Okay.
picture of the young lady, and her name is um, Alyssa Gilmore. Claims that her mother, a former secretary of the Oval Office named Whitney Gilmore, had an affair with President Clinton between 1998 and 2001. She says she was born out of that relationship and demands that Mr. Clinton undergoes a paternity test to prove that her story is true. Now, I said that I went there to teaparty.org, which sounds like a legitimate website, doesn't it, Kyle? And they say their mission is to bring awareness to any issue which challenges the security, sovereignty, or domestic tranquility of our beloved nation. And they linked to the story on World News Daily, which doesn't
Oh.
sound anything like World Net Daily, an actual legitimate website. So I go there, and it's the same story. Now, here's a picture of Bill Clinton with Whitney Gilmore and Hillary Clinton back at the time that she claimed, or the daughter claims that her mother was knocked up. There's a lot of holes in this story, and I'll try to continue the story here. But basically, can you do a Google search for Alyssa Gilmore, Kyle?
Alyssa. Sure. How
Alyssa
do you spell
Gilmore.
Alyssa?
Alyssa, and then Gilmore.
Alyssa
Gilmore,
Gilmore.
Gilmore. Now, I haven't done this yet because I wanted to kind of, you know how we like to bring stuff up and then do it in real time, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's the fun way to do it.
I kind of wanted to work with you to get to the bottom of this being a real story or a fake story. When I go to the About Us page on the source for the initial story, World News Daily, is an American Jewish Zionist newspaper based in Tel Aviv and dedicated uncovering biblical archaeology news and other mysteries around the globe. Our
Oh,
news
okay.
team is
So non-partisan, just the facts news source.
right. I go to their homepage, and they have a lot of kind of weird stories that I'm sure might be true, but like a 400-pound man cuts off his own genitals while shaving.
It
Jesus spent.
sounds like one of those, and you're coming in skippy too. I think what it is, by the way, just quick side note, is that Google seems to have done some updates, and whenever they do updates, similar to when you set up a new office, things get fucked up. So I don't think it's either of us. But it sounds like when you
Yeah.
go to a real news site and at the bottom it'll have like other news stories that are just ridiculous, but then it says like, oh, ads by. So it's like that's not actually them. That's just like an ad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like. I found Alyssa Gilmore on Twitter. This isn't her.
No.
Okay.
And
Um.
go to news on go to news on say Alyssa Gilmore, and
Nothing.
you're spelling it right. So the mainstream media or the American media is not picking this up, but it says in their report about the 16-year-old girl that okay, let me just read through some of this. I know Bill Clinton is my father, says the young girl. I have many pictures of my mother and him, and I know they were in love. He even gave me presents for Christmas and my birthdays when I was a kid before he left my mother. I have spent many years writing him letters and calling him, hoping he would call me back in my life, or come back in my life. At first, he would write back, and we spoke on the phone regularly, but he doesn't even answer anymore. I just wanted him to take responsibilities to recognize that he's my father. They go on to say that Bill Clinton addressed the issue in Washington. And I can't find anything about that happening. He says Whitney was indeed my secretary. Oh, I got to do my Bill Clinton. And she's
Well,
been.
and go ahead.
So he said that he did work with her. He never had any sexual relationship, and I'm not the father of Alyssa Gilmore. This whole thing is a diversion created by the Republican Party to ruin Hillary's chances to run for the presidency. So,
See,
I
and
mean,
here's
go
the
ahead.
problem is with these sites is like here's a website conservativehideout.com, which I'm not gonna like talk shit on this website or anything, but they do need to do their fact checking because this seems like a website similar to us at themediaspeaks.com, who picked up this story, didn't do their research, and so here they are repeating the website and linking to teaparty.org, which, by the way, congratulations on this hoaxer for getting a badass domain name. Like, how did you get that? That's a tough domain to get.
Yeah, I mean, teaparty.org sounds, like.
You kind of put a little bit of faith in the fact like when you see like something like this, the first thing you do is like look at the first thing of many is you look at the URL, right? Like you go,
Yeah,
all right, what's the URL? Because if it's like
yes.
Tea Partiers for Michigan, try, and it's like something that's like, all right, you just picked the first domain that was available, but like teaparty.org, you feel like that would have been already taken.
Right, and so Kyle, going back to how you started, what you were saying about fake sites versus real sites. I mean, what's your normal procedure for tracking down sources, and if to find out if this is true or if this is really happening? What do
Well,
you
for
do?
me, first thing I do is I go to the about on the page. So here's about us on
Hmm.
the teaparty.org. Let's look at it right now.
Are they in Tel
And I look
Aviv?
at the domain, which that seems like a legit domain. Tea Partier who poses strong belief, blah blah blah. Non-negotiable core beliefs.
They stand by the Constitution. It says. Saw that.
We the people rule. Um,
They have
there's this
stuff about
picture
Rand
of this
Paul and
guy.
Ted Cruz on the side there.
And here's the next thing that I do. I'm gonna take this image of like the founder or whatever that they have here. Just save it to my desktop for now. Steve Itchler is his name on here. And then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take image that seems to be going around of this girl, Alyssa. Save that image.
And then what do you
Save
do?
it
A
to my.
Google reverse image search?
Yes, that's usually an easy way to get to the bottom of shit really quick.
Yeah, so this is
Not always.
basically the game that I wanted to play is let's try to get to the bottom of this story because they're making it sound like Bill Clinton already gave a speech about this and but I skipped over the part where um, there's an element to this that makes it sound legitimate. Judge Henry Watkins of the Arkansas State Court rapidly decided that Miss Gilmore had enough evidence to support her demand and announced that the presentation of the evidence will begin on March 19th. So that's in 5 days, Kyle. Bill Clinton wasn't present in the courthouse this morning in Little Rock, but he met the media less than an hour after the judge's decision in Washington. Now, is Tel Aviv and Israel scooping America on this story, or is America just not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole?
I got links back to this image of Alyssa, and it says best guess for this image, 16-year-old girl. So whoever put this original story just literally searched 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, there was probably a tag about that. And then
Oh,
similar
here we go.
images are just other
Got it.
blondes.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the same girl right here in a different image. American folk girl. So they just stole images
Doing
from
doing
a
what
website.
on what website? Go to visit site. Yeah.
16-year-old American folk girl doing well after liver transplant.
And
16-year-old Brittany, so her real name's Brittany. Yep, and there's the first image right there.
so Alyssa Gilmore and Brittany are the same girl.
Yes, there she is.
Wait,
One day
16 year
into
old.
Christmas.
That's the same picture.
Yeah, there
Go
you go.
go.
One day
Let
into.
let me put your screen on the screen. Wait. Brittany Howe's 16. That's the same picture they're saying is Bill Clinton's daughter, and they have
Yep.
quotes from Bill Clinton in their article. See, I knew it was fake. What the
Yep. One
fuck?
day into Christmas vacation, 16-year-old American Fork resident Brittany Howes had no idea that her medical journey was about to ensue. So this is like, they just
Holy.
searched 16-year-old girl and they found this picture. Just for shits and giggles, let's look up the picture of the founder.
Yeah. Okay. And also, can you just, can you also just give a shout out? Explain to people what you're doing right now on Google image search.
So you can take any time that you see a story on a website, you can right-click Save Image As, take the image, and I'll show you right now. If you're looking at my screen share, here's the picture of Steve Eichler or whatever that they said is like the founder of TeaParty.org, and you just click this little button right here on Google Image, and you can search by image, so it will find. And it says, all right, Steve Eichler. Okay, so that's the guy's
Go to
real
the
name.
Washington. Yeah, go to the Washington Times article. That looks more legitimate.
Washington Times. Yeah, so so when I right click and save, they actually didn't even change the name of the image that they stole.
Yeah.
Which that's an easy giveaway right there. I could have probably just searched his name. And
The
so
best
this
guess
is
for
like
the
a
image
legit dude.
probably pulls up alt tags too.
So
Scroll
here.
down just a little bit. So this is a
Oh.
real guy and TeaParty.org, but they picked up on the fake story from the other site, the World News Daily.
Well, no, this picture was on that TeaParty.org website.
Hmm.
So that TeaParty.org website is bullshit. This is Washington Times. That's probably fake too.
The
Is
Washington
Washington?
Times is fake. What?
Well, I know Washington Post. You know?
No, I've heard of the Washington Times, right?
Okay, if you've heard of it. Um, isn't even pulling up
Oh
that
man.
image.
And can you also maybe I could talk about this, but can you talk about these fake news websites looking or trying to look more and more like legitimate websites,
Well, yeah, and that's what
design-wise, and just
they do, and they'll make a website that seems really, really real, and there's a ton of what people don't understand is that there's templates out there. Like if you go like even for like us doing video and stuff, like you can actually buy like like news intros and stuff. So we could have like a really legit like news intro with like a globe that spins and it says like up to the minute, like
Yeah.
reporting, blah blah blah, and it's
Oh,
like in reality,
we need a
we
typewriter sound in the background.
yeah, you can buy that for like $20. In the same way, you can buy a template for a website, and you can buy a template that looks exactly like whatever news website you want to. You can buy, I've seen it before, for like $100, you can buy Infowars.com's template. Like, you can make your website look like an exact replica of Infowars or CNN or MSNBC, and then just fill it with whatever bullshit you want. And what a lot of them will do is they'll literally take the shit from the actual website, fill it up, make it look identical, and then just put that like one bullshit article in there. So that's clearly what this person did. And like, you know who I feel bad for in this? Like, I feel bad for that girl, that fork girl, whatever.
I mean, dude, that's just like a stock photo of a 16-year-old girl that, I mean, we don't know what year that was taken. There's not a calendar behind her. I mean, she could be 24, 25-year-old girl right now for all we know.
Yeah,
But
and
now she's Brittany Hume's transplant girl, and now she's Bill Clinton's daughter girl, and it's just like
the funny thing is, like,
it's like the kid at Sandy Hook that's been killed like 4 times already.
if you're gonna do this, like my recommendation, because as you get better and better at like skimming out like the bullshit websites, you almost like become an expert on how to do it. It's like if you're gonna do this, at least like do this for me, people. Like when you search 16-year-old girl to get a generic image, go to like the 20th page of Google image results, take the picture, and then edit it. Edit like the contrast or the brightness or something so that when I go search it, it doesn't show up. Come on, people. Be smart about it.
Yeah, try to get better at your fakery.
Yeah, get better at it because,
Get better at it, please.
but like then it kind of makes me mad because it's like this website right here, conservativehideout.com, like they seem like
2.0.
they're trying to like do good stuff. They're trying to put out information. We do too. They got Amazon links and stuff. They're trying to make a few bucks, but it's like, dude, like you have like a donate thing. It's like I can't donate to you if you're not even doing your research. Like, come on. Like, do your
Well,
fucking
see,
research. How many times has this happened on your website where you just see something and immediately copy and paste whatever the fuck it was, you know?
exactly. And I mean, we've been covering news for a few years now, a couple years now, and that's pretty much exactly what I was going through last night. But you know, it was getting late. I'm like, this is something we could talk about in the morning. I'm like, but I looked up on YouTube, and one guy, you know, some bald guy in his mom's basement was like, oh yeah, there's this breaking story. He just covered it real quick. You know, basically regurgitated the first story that I covered because when I went to it, I was like, wait a second, and then I started tracking it. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed. Like, we'll get into the story in the morning. But when I was, you know, up this morning, I'm like, there was something weird about those links. We should discuss if this is real or fake. And I think we just cracked it and just decided that it was fake.
Yeah, and that only took like 10 minutes. And I don't think we've ever
Yeah.
been hit with one of these fake stories. I don't think the media, have we ever accidentally put anything out there that,
On the Facebook page, I think probably about a year ago, I put something out, and Anthony Court's really good at this. You know, is it real or fake news? And he's like,
yeah.
like that's a fake. Pull it. And I'm like, shit. Oh, what? For real? And then I
Yeah.
like did a little research. I'm like, damn it! I copied and pasted like an idiot.
and like Paul Joseph Watson did it once, I remember too, and a ton of people got pissed at him. But it's like
Yeah.
you gotta look into it because these are becoming more and more prevalent. Like you're seeing them pop up more and more and more. And here's the thing, like I'm not gonna defend the mainstream media right now, but what I will say is that the mainstream media is a good fact-checking source because if you find a story, like you will be able to find it in the mainstream media. The mainstream media might have some crazy fucking slant on it, and they're trying to get you to feel very differently about whatever it is that you found, but they will talk about it. If it's not real, they won't even touch it. They won't even do anything with it. So whenever you hear a story, try and find it in the mainstream media somewhere, like
No,
not
yeah,
what the mainstream media is saying.
exactly, Kyle. Like I found in my practices of, you know, like getting to the bottom of certain things, that the Drudge Report is actually a pretty brilliant way to find out. Look, if you find a story about a breaking scandal about Bill Clinton having a 16-year-old daughter, and then you go to the Drudge Report and you don't see a link for it as breaking news anywhere, then in my experience, you can assume that it's a fake story
Yeah, absolutely.
if no one else is picking it up.
Yeah, and there's been a few that it's just like, whoa, this is wacky. But you know what? While we're talking about this and like fake news and stuff, there's something that's been going around this week. I don't know if you've heard about this, but I thought when I first saw it, like, oh, this is fake, and I looked into it and it turns out to be totally real. Have you heard about powdered alcohol?
I saw a couple people. I think I saw Bo, our good friend Bo, post a link, and it looks like a pile of cocaine. I'm like, what's this? And then it says it's powdered alcohol. Can you get into it for us, Kyle?
Yeah, if you want to could you just Google really quickly while I
Hmm.
explain, like, powdered alcohol, which, like, the reason I thought this was fake right off the bat is because, like, how do you powder alcohol? Alcohol is the liquid that you use to dry something out. If you drop your phone in the toilet, you put it in rubbing alcohol and then you set it out because the rubbing alcohol dries it out. It pulls all the moisture out and disappears. So how do you powder something that is like the thing that dries things? It doesn't make sense to me. But yes, this company, they got approved by the FDA, and they've created powdered alcohol, and they're going to sell it in like
Alcohol.
pouches.
They call it Palcohol.
Yeah, Palcohol. You can get rum. You can get. I think they had like tequila, vodka, martini mixes where it's just like Kool-Aid. Add water, give it a little shake up, and you got a martini. Pretty dope if you ask me. And people are freaking out saying this stuff should be illegal, saying kids are going to use it, which they will. I'm not going to lie, but kids use, vodka and normal alcohol already. If they're going to drink, they're going to drink. And then the other side of it is people saying people are going to snort it, which I absolutely agree. People will snort it. They'll probably die. It'll be hilarious.
If it
And,
looks like cocaine, if it looks like coke and it's powdered, we can put it in our noses.
yeah, and you know that they will, and that's fine, and they'll probably end up in the emergency room. Good for them. But I don't know, like, and I saw people comparing it, and like, this is the funny thing. I saw a comment thread on Facebook of people getting mad that this was illegal or this was going to be legal, and that marijuana isn't, and like making the comparison of like a lot of people saying this should be illegal and marijuana should be legal, and it's like, no, 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 you can't be like my shit should be legal and yours shouldn't. That's not how things work. It's all or nothing.
Well,
Like,
I mean, marijuana activists are going to compare anything to marijuana should be legal. According to RT, a trusted news source, Russia Today, states already banning powdered alcohol just days after approval. Though powdered alcohol has been approved for sale by the Federal Tax and Trade Authority, thanks to them for that, many state and federal legislators are alarmed and are seeking to ban the product before it ever hits shelves. Earlier this week, the U.S. Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, the TTB, approved the sale of Palcohol in vodka, rum, cosmopolitan, and powderita flavors, with
mm,
lemon dropper still pending. In response, the Utah State Legislature adopted a bill banning the product, while New York Senator Chuck Schumer introduced a law that would ban it at the federal
douche,
level. Kyle.
douche, fucking asshole. Why? Why? Anytime anything cool comes out, like we gotta ban that shit before people have fun. Like, fuck you. Just let shit come out. Like, alcohol would be illegal if it wasn't for prohibition, like, flopping on its face.
Well, I mean,
Like,
are
they
they
want.
going to ban it before someone snorts it and dies, Kyle? I mean, are they trying to save lives?
Fuck it. I don't care if they're trying. If you snort powdered alcohol, you're a fucking idiot, and I hope that you do die. Like, that. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to bring some to a concert, you know? Like, I shouldn't. I should be able to bring it camping because it's lighter and easier to bring on a camping trip than a case of beer. I should be allowed to do that. I have no intention of snorting it. I'm not a child. I should be able to do it. D-Lake should be able to do it. It sounds like
Well,
an awesome idea, right? You go to a concert and like you want to sneak in some alcohol, but it's hard to sneak alcohol into some concerts. So you bring a little
oh,
bag
yeah,
of
I
powder.
didn't think about the sneaking it into places thing.
Yeah. That's where I want to get it for. Like, think about it. You could go to a concert and just order a water, which will still be $3 fucking, and then just add your powdered margarita mix to it. That'd be awesome.
Didn't think about it
But it's
that way.
like Congress is like the fucking fun police. They are Buzz Killington. Like Dick Durbin in Illinois.
Buzz
Can
Killington.
you buy in California? Can you buy blunt wraps?
Oh yeah, for sure. At my 7-Eleven, people. I don't know why it seems this way, but it always seems like the guy right behind me in line is always like, "Can I get two vanilla and two cherry blunts?" And yeah, people buy it all the time.
Don't lie, D. Like they all want white grape. They're all after the white grape.
Oh yeah, that grape is very popular.
It's a very popular flavor. Well, like, and I'm not talking about like the blunts, the blunt wraps, where it's just like the blunt paper.
Yeah, it's just a wrap, and it's like, oh, what are you gonna do with this? I'm going to
Yeah,
put tobacco into it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make my own cigars at home. Yeah, right. But you
I'm
can't
gonna
buy
put
those
powdered
anymore.
alcohol. I'm gonna sprinkle Palcohol on my marijuana and try to smoke it, and I could end up dead.
Do you think that would work?
I don't know,
Smoking
but
it?
it sounds like it might do something to you, right?
I'll wait until like a few thousand other people do it, but
A Palcohol spliff.
imagine just like you go to a concert, like an outdoor concert, and you just like that's actually even easier because instead of having to like get a water and mix in your drink, you just like mix it, you like empty out some cigarettes, mix
Yeah,
your
you
powdered
cut.
alcohol in, pack
Yeah,
it back in, and you're smoking a cigarette, getting fucking wasted.
it's called
That,
I don't know, but we should name it and trademark it right now.
yeah,
When
you'd
when
call
you
it
put
like
a when you put a dip of alcohol into your cigarette, what's that called? A Palcosig,
hmm,
or it needs something more flashy.
I
Um,
can't. I'm trying to think like brand names that you could put into it. Um, hmm.
Pudweiser. uh,
I will have to think about it. We'll have to come up with a name and patent it.
yeah.
But like in Illinois, you can't buy those blunt wraps. They're illegal because
Oh,
Dick
okay,
Durbin's
that's
a
where you were
cock
going.
ass.
Well, why not?
Because Dick Durbin's a fucking cock ass, and he must have figured out. Somebody told him like he was at a gas station
Oh
and
yeah.
somebody got blunt wraps. He's like, "What are those?" And they're like, and they didn't know that he was Dick Durbin. They were
Right.
just being a nice guy, spreading information. They go, "Oh, you can buy these and you roll weed in them." And Dick Durbin just like camera zooms in on his face. I will stop fun because I am Dick Durbin, the Dick of Illinois. Like,
If we
fucking
ban these
cock.
blunt wraps, they won't be able to put their weed in anything, and then they won't be able to smoke weed anymore.
So what do people do instead? Since you can't buy the blunt wraps, people just buy the blunts. They buy the White Owls, and they crack them open, empty the tobacco out, and they roll their weed in there. So guess what? Guess what Dick Durbin wants to do?
That's the old-fashioned way.
He wants to get rid of those fuckers too. Dick Durbin's like, oh, you found a way around my buzz killing? Like, he's literally like the dean, and like the United States is the fraternity who just wants to have a killer party.
I
What the
thought
fuck?
maybe he was like, well, if you buy the ones with the tobacco in it, you're paying the tobacco tax. And if you buy the wrap without the tobacco in it, somehow you bypass the tobacco tax. And he's like, we need that fucking tax.
He wants to get rid of the flavored ones too, because like he wants to get rid of flavored like Swishers and White Owls. He wants you to not even be able to buy those. He wants the only thing that you can buy is like a White Owl or a Swisher, non-flavored, the red package, the shitty
Yeah.
ones. It's like the same shit, like,
What?
and they can get away with it, like, oh, well, kids are attracted to flavors. Like, bitch, my
Kids
girlfriend's
are.
23 and she loves candy. Like, adults like candy too. Let adults have their fucking candy.
No, Kyle. When you turn 18, you don't want cherry or grape or anything like that anymore. You're grown
No,
up
those
now.
feelings just disappear. You don't, yeah, you don't want
You're grown
nobody.
up.
When I turned 18, actually at midnight, I was eating Sour Patch Kids. I was eating them, and the clock struck midnight, and all of a sudden I just threw up. I was like, what the, this is disgusting. Get me cognac. Like,
No one's had a problem with powdered Kool-Aid for years, and I mean, sugar is a legal drug. You realize
yes,
that
sugar's a legal drug,
caffeine is a legal drug. I mean,
and
come
you can
on.
argue that it kills more people. The leading cause of premature death in the United States is heart disease, which is caused by eating unhealthy, having too much sugar in your diet, also followed by diabetes is up there in the list, caused by having too much sugar. Nobody says anything about that though, and I've seen people. I saw somebody at a convenience store. It was a girl who was probably like 20, and she was with her little brother who was probably like 14. And she bought a pack of cigarettes, and the little brother, tubby little fucking, he looked like the grape kid from Willy Wonka. He's like, should smoke, it's bad for you. And he fucking proceeds to put his 20 pounds of fucking Twinkies and fucking cowtails and sugar daddies and Mary Janes and other candies from the 1930s up on the table. No, it wasn't 1930s candies, but like, and I look at the kid and I was like, that stuff's worse for you. No, because my school didn't say. It's like, yeah, it's fucking, you're gonna die first, fatty. you're gonna get diabetes, and you're gonna have to inject yourself every day with a needle, and your sister's gonna live to 102 like George Burns. Well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that that's like the most likely scenario, but it's just fucking ridiculous. It makes me angry, D. Like, it's like, if you, only the approved ones that don't get you high. You can have cigarettes that don't really get you high. You can have booze, which make you, cause car accidents, get in fights over stupid things like sports teams. You can have candy that kills children. That's totally fine. You can buy it at any age. Energy drinks. A fucking 5-year-old can walk into a convenience store and buy 5 things of Monster, walk outside, chug them, and they're gonna have a wonderful, healthy life. But weed and like powdered alcohol, like blunt wraps, no, those are fun. You can't have fun, D-Leg.
Do you remember the urban legend about the kid that drank like 2 Jolt Colas, then ate some Pop Rocks and died?
Yeah, he exploded, right? Like his
Yeah,
stomach
exploded or something
exploded.
like that.
Yes.
Man, now I'm not seeing the same link that I went to. I think it was yesterday morning, and for some reason I'm not finding it in my history. Trying to search too fast, maybe. But yesterday I was reading a report about ISIS talking about eating bad. They like to sneak the McDonald's cheeseburgers in from Turkey into Syria, and post pictures of their McDonald's bags and their cheeseburgers on social media. And basically, there's a bunch of ISIS fighters that eat soggy chips and fish and chips and like the fish is undercooked, and like basically the news article was making fun of the type of food that ISIS fighters are posting on social media, and how excited they get for 5 smuggled McDonald's cheeseburgers from Turkey. I mean, how do you feel about that, Kyle?
So,
And they
like,
love to wash down all their meals with fizzy, teeth-rotting soda. How do you feel about that?
so it's like their equivalent of like, I don't know, like if you were to go to like what's a really really like upscale fancy restaurant, like somewhere where it's like, like $25-$30 a plate, and like of course you like take a selfie of yourself in your suit at this really fancy restaurant, and like that's their equivalent is like old soggy McDonald's that's been smuggled from another country.
Yeah, here we go. I found the
That's
article.
that's hilarious. Like, how can they even do that? Like, logically, don't they hate America? Like, we
I know.
invented that shit.
I know, that's what
Honestly.
people are saying. Like, you fuckers, like, they're like down with jihad and they hate America, but they love smuggled McDonald's cheeseburgers from Turkey. And it says jihadists have terrible culinary skills, and they show off their love for Western junk food. McDonald's cheeseburgers have been smuggled by hungry jihadists. Soggy-looking chips seem to be the most common side option. Some undercooked fish there. An ISIS fighter showing off crab. I don't know how they got crabs in the middle of the desert. And according to crab is considered haram or forbidden, according to some schools of thought in Islam. Let me scroll down to this fancy refrigerator full of fizzy soda.
That crab
there's
was really
the
gross.
McDonald's bag. Someone snuck in 5 cheeseburgers from Mackie D's for me. Whoop whoop.
Even whoop whoop is like an American term. Like, are these guys like, do these guys realize, like, this is like the equivalent of, like, if you're in, like, the KKK, just, like, the most extreme form of, like, racist person, you fucking hate black people, but you're like, but damn, they can dance, Like, no, you gotta...
They love rap music.
Yeah, it's like someone in the KKK, and they're like, well, yeah, but Jay-Z, I mean... doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, I hate them black people, but fucking Mike Epps is hilarious.
Those Negroes.
Fucking, but, like, that's like really what it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hilarious, but that proves right there, like, they're gonna lose themselves, and it proves the point that the best thing that we could do is export our culture, because our culture is fucking contagious. As bad as it is, and as much as we can complain about it, like Marlboro cigarettes, McDonald's, Jack Daniels, like,
Well,
I'm not the one who came up with this idea, by the way. Like,
alcohol.
Yeah, fucking Palcohol, like that's how you fucking get people on your side. Like people with McDonald's don't fight the United States. Just doesn't happen.
Well, see, I thought you would like that, Kyle, because remember before when you were talking about we should just air drop bomb onto like North Korea? We should just air bomb ISIS with McDonald's cheeseburgers, and
Oh
on the
yeah.
McDonald's bag it says "America loves you."
No, fucking go a step further, dude. Fucking start airdropping Burger King and Wendy's, because let's be real, Burger King and Wendy's are much better than McDonald's. I see all the time. I'll drive past like at noon, and the fucking McDonald's drive-through is like fucking 20 cars deep, but right next door there's a Wendy's that's like only got 5 cars. If you have a choice, aren't you? I'm gonna go to Wendy's like 100 times to 1
Oh,
over fucking
every
shitty
day, all the
McDonald's.
time, Wendy's over McDonald's easily.
Yeah, let's fucking airdrop spicy chicken combos. I think it's the number 6. Number 6 combos, large. Fucking America loves you with Happy Meal toys.
Some
With the
Dave's
fucking
classics.
toys. Yeah, fucking Pokemon cards. Just drop all of our old shit too. Like there's shit that like is really cool American stuff that like we don't even care about anymore. Just start dropping fucking Revolution IPA, little something something from Lagunitas, fucking Wendy's spicy chicken combos, fucking Funyuns. Funyuns will destroy ISIS, dude. Like one like ay, 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 crack that bag open like, oh, this is fucking delicious. Fuck, I'm going to America. Like, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
Funyuns, bitch. Put some cheese sauce on those motherfuckers. Flaming hot Cheetos? Are you fucking kidding me, ISIS? Come on. Come on over.
I've never been a huge fan of Funyuns. And have you ever seen the videos of people lighting um, flaming hot Cheetos on fire, and they totally burn, like there's like a flame accelerant in the flaming hot Cheetos.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. You can actually, it's like a prepper thing to keep Fritos. Fritos are a great fire starter. Like, Fritos will burn for like 10 minutes. So you just like put some Fritos at the bottom of a fire, and it's like a fire starting log. Show that to ISIS too. Fuckers living in the desert, they can use it multi-purpose. They're like, these fucking Americans are geniuses. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? It's fucking give all their kids fucking Pokemon cards. Wait a week. They'll be coming asking for more.
Kyle, you weren't here last week on the show. I think you were busy doing birthday stuff, like going to comedy shows and other stuff like that. Did you have a good birthday week, Kyle?
Oh fuck yeah! I saw last week I wasn't here because I was seeing Duncan Trussell Family Hour live podcast recording in Chicago, which was dope. Another great thing about just like to go on a side note, like podcasting is the ultimate awesome form of everything. There's no competition, you know. Like if you like us, fucking please go listen to Dan Carlin. Dan Carlin's Common Sense is a great fucking show. Very like-minded individual. Listen to Duncan Trussell's Family Hour. That dude's dope. We saw a live taping of that where he had his friend with him who lives in Chicago. Like, have you heard how I forget the guy's name? I should look up his book so we can tell people to buy it. I'm probably gonna read it. Like malaria medication, like the shit that you got to take for malaria if you travel like overseas, like in a certain percentage of the population, it caused like schizophrenia and like hallucinations and shit.
Mhm.
And this guy, it caused like memory loss. So all of a sudden, he's on like a train platform in Dubai, and he's like, wait a second, who am I and where am I? And just didn't remember who he was or why he was there. Can you imagine how fucking scary that would be? Very, very interesting.
But he didn't have malaria, though, right?
No, he was taking the medication because he'd been traveling around the world and he was in Dubai. And then that was super interesting. Everybody check out Duncan Trussell. Yesterday we saw Brian Callen, who's literally the fucking funniest comedian on the planet, and I hold comedians to a very high standard. He's the guy. I don't know if I told you about. I emailed him and asked if he could punch through a watermelon. He posted it to his Instagram and stuff, and I saw him, took a
Oh yeah.
picture with him. I was like, hey, I emailed you about punching through a watermelon. He's like, oh shit, that was you. And like we talked a little bit, shook his hand. Awesome, awesome stuff. And
And
then
he was like,
tomorrow night
"Wow,
we're going to see the premier #1 Queen cover band in the world. It's going
awesome!
to
Well,
shows like a motherfucker.
happy birthday, brother! I'm really excited for you."
Thank you, sir. 26. Oh, and just speaking of fucking podcasts too, have you heard about this Howard Stern bullshit? I know you're
Just
a huge Howard Stern fan.
I am. I was just listening to some Howard last night, interviewing Robert Downey Jr.
Did you hear about the whole thing with him in podcasting?
No, I did not. Fill me in.
Howard Stern has been talking mad shit on podcasting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I did hear that just the other day. I heard him talking a little bit of shit because he was saying that like he started the whole podcast. Basically, his show has been a podcast for over 20 years, and he's like now everyone has a voice, everyone has a Twitter, everyone has a podcast,
For sure.
everyone can do it. I think maybe I don't know if he's afraid, but I think he's suggesting that the market's getting saturated, perhaps.
There's two theories. There's two theories on it. The one theory is that he's afraid, or if you look economically, whenever somebody's about to be phased out, whenever a technology is about to go the wayside, they're never ready for it, and they never think it's going to happen. Fucking cable companies didn't see the internet pushing them aside. Fucking wagon companies didn't see the automobile putting them out of business. Like fucking the typewriter business didn't see computers taking over. Therefore, typewriter companies aren't making computers these days. And Howard Stern and XM radio in general is just that old technology that's getting pushed by the wayside, and they don't even see it happening. They don't realize how powerful it really is. The other theory is, and you know a lot about Howard Stern, how did Howard Stern get famous? He would go into different markets and you would make radio stations profitable, right? How did he do that? He would go to a radio station, he'd go into a market, he'd pick the most popular show in that market, and he would just start talking shit about it. And that way he got the people who listened to the show and the other popular show to listen to him to see what he was saying now, like what shit he would talk that day. And
well, he's totally brilliant at goofing on people, so he would just find things to goof on his competitors and call them weak and call them copycats and call them
exactly, and like
listeners.
they even say in the movie, Private Parts, there's a part when he's at CB or NBC, and they want to get rid of him.
WNBC.
Yeah, WNBC, and they're trying to like get rid of him, and the guy who like runs the numbers and shit and like the ratings, he comes back and everybody's like trying to censor him, trying to get him to shut up, and they're like, he's the highest rated show in the market, and they're like, but everybody hates him, and they're like, here's the weird part. Howard Stern fans listen for an average, I forget the numbers, but it was like 20 minutes. He's like, people who hate Howard Stern listen for an hour.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just being brilliant, and he just got me to mention it, so
Right.
who knows?
And another thing is, though, that, like, he switched from, what do you call it, terrestrial radio or regular radio to XM satellite radio, which afforded him the opportunity to curse on air, get a little more into, like, having chicks ride the simian, having orgasms, other stuff like that. But in all actuality, it's been a creeping factor that the internet and podcasts, basically, like you were saying a couple weeks ago, self-regulate. Some shows are like, we don't curse on this show, we don't talk about this and that, but other shows are like, hey, we're the new Howard Sterns on podcast. And so that's
but the problem is, like, private market self-regulates, right? And it does do that. And here's the problem. Podcasts do self-regulate, but on an independent level. We decide what's going too far for us. Other shows decide what's too far for them. Some people want to be family appropriate, blah, blah, blah. But XM was advertised as the same thing, like uncensored, like we don't have the FCC, but they've started to self-regulate themselves. The problem with XM Sirius is that they don't independently regulate. At the tip of the sphere is still XM Sirius, and they decide what fits their standards and doesn't. And we've been seeing over the past few years that they're becoming more and more like the FCC, like the whole Opie and Anthony thing, where Anthony Cumia got fired for saying something that was a little bit racist, but it's like, wait a second, I thought you were the place where if anybody could say, like, outlandish shit, this was the place. Obviously not. Mm-hmm. So they've kind of turned into the FCC themselves.
Speaking of self-regulation, I mean, how do you feel, I wish you were on last week, but how do you feel about this scandal going on two weeks plus, and we're not in the wake of it, we're still in the thick of it? Hillary Clinton's private emails, she self-regulated, decided that her and her camp were going to delete more than half of the emails that she deemed personal, turn over the other ones. Trey Gowdy and the select committee said there's huge, giant gaps missing. Rand Paul's coming out saying that, we can't trust these liars. and he wants to see the documents, and she's not going to turn them over. And everyone stopped talking about the server being in the name of Eric Hotaham, who also has a P.O. box that is the same as the Clinton Foundation. No one's bringing that Hotaham aspect into it. Like, D-Lake needs to be in Congress right now so I can take charge of this shit. How do you feel about the Hillary Clinton private email scandal, Kyle?
Well, on one side, and Dan Carlin kind of mentioned this on his show, Common Sense, where it's like, you did this, and then they say we want to see the emails, and she goes, all right, well, I'll show you the ones that aren't personal emails. Well, if you were using that email account for the business of the people of the United States of America who were your employer, you don't get to decide that. You don't get to decide what's pertinent and what's not. They do. If you didn't want that, maybe you should have read all the shit that you signed when you took the job, specifically telling you that you could not do what you did. You fucked up. Now we get to see your personal emails, and nobody... Sure, there's people out there who want to see Hillary Clinton's emails, but the people who are doing the investigation, they don't give a fuck about where you're going for dinner 5 months ago. They don't care. So, yeah, you have to turn all that over because you fucked up. Like, you're the one who messed up. But I do think it's interesting, the whole private server thing. Was there an actual server? Like, or are we talking like Gmail? What was this email?
No, there was a physical server in her Chappaqua home, registered under the name Eric Hotaham, and everything went through that. And the benefit to her on that is that she
can fucking fry it.
She
evaded
any FOIA requests. And last I heard, Associated Press was trying to sue because they've been putting in FOIA requests for 5 years. The State Department was saying we can't find anything, but not divulging the fact that, oh, P.S., HDR22 at Clinton email is Hillary Clinton's private email on her server at her house.
Yeah, and it's just so sketchy, because when I first heard him saying private server, I'm like, what, was she just using her Gmail? Because then that's kind of suspect, calling it a private server. But okay, it was literally a fucking private server in her basement. Yes. Like, anybody who's ever seen a hacker movie, like, when the feds show up at your door, you stick that fucker in a microwave, and then it disappears. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. It should be on government servers, 100%. She knew what she was doing.
This morning, the State Department, in an article, challenges Clinton's claim that emails to officials were, quote-unquote, immediately saved. The former Secretary of State made the assertion during her press conference earlier this week, and in a lengthy statement put out by her office as she defended her exclusive use of personal email. Clinton downplayed concerns that official emails could have been lost by suggesting anytime she emailed anyone with a .gov address, that email would be stored for posterity. The vast majority of my work emails went to government employees at their government addresses, which meant they were captured and preserved immediately on the system at the State Department, she said Tuesday. But Department spokeswoman Jan Paskey made clear on Friday that that was not the way the system worked. She said the department only started automatically archiving emails for other senior officials in February, I assume of this year. They have long been planning to do this. It's just something that it took some time to put in place, Pasaki said, adding that they'll continue to take steps forward. Before February, these senior officials would have been responsible for flagging their own official records for preservation, and as an Inspector General report released earlier this week made clear, that often was not happening. The report said that in 2011, employees created just 61,156 record emails out of more than 1 billion emails sent. They created even fewer in 2013. The report said some employees aren't preserving emails because they do not want to make the email available in searches or fear that this availability would inhibit debate about pending decisions. A central part of Clinton's argument in downplaying the impact of her personal email use has been that she sent most emails to government colleagues on their .gov accounts. The written statement put out by her office said her work emails were immediately captured and preserved this way. Further, Clinton stressed that she cooperated, blah, blah, blah. And the most important claim she made on Tuesday was that emails were captured and preserved in real time. Knowing how far government email systems lag behind those everyone else uses, it is extremely doubtful that was actually the case. The Inspector General's report confirmed that just 0.00006% of the State Department emails were saved. So it's very unlikely people Secretary Clinton relied on to save her emails did in fact save those emails. Kyle, I know that was a little bit lengthy. Thank you for indulging me. But I think basically what this article is trying to say that Hillary Clinton lied? Hillary Clinton lied? Are you kidding me, Kyle?
I can't believe that. That doesn't happen.
The most honest politician we've ever known, the presumptive Democratic forerunner, would lie?
Yeah, she knew what she fucking did, and she did it for a reason. You don't do that unless there's a specific reason. You don't have a private server set up in your basement instead of, like, that's literally like me.
That she set up the exact same day as her Senate confirmation hearing.
Like, you can use Gmail, or you can set up a, $1,000 server in your basement and hire somebody, because Hillary Clinton doesn't know how to set up a fucking server, to come in and set it up for a few $100, and it's going to take a few days, and you have to have it installed and everything. Or you can just use the shit we already have set up for you that you actually have to use. She was told what? It was like 3 times it was affirmed that she had to use. She could not use a private email, and she
she
like
had to use a .gov address. But in that same speech on Tuesday, she said she relied heavily on the excuse that out of convenience, like she didn't want to carry 2 devices or have 2 separate things. She wanted everything.
Out of convenience, have you ever tried to sync up your email from a private server onto your phone as opposed to using like a pre-set up system? I've tried to do it for somebody who has private emails. It's really fucking hard. Like there's no excuse. You made it harder. You went to extreme levels to do this, and there's no excuse. It wasn't easier. It wasn't convenience. Like, the easy convenience would have been to use the shit that's already set up for you. And I'm even going to go a step further. Anybody who received an email from that email address on official business went through the same briefing and knew just as well that she was not supposed to be doing that and that was illegal. And anybody who didn't report that is just as fucking guilty. Anybody who received an email from that email address to a .gov email address is just as guilty.
Good point. I mean, yeah, she relied on the excuse of convenience, but then in another interview just days later or days before, like all within the same week, she's doing an interview. She's all, yes, I have a BlackBerry, an iPad, a mini iPad, a fax machine, a Nintendo hand, and a burner phone, and also, like, she has all these devices. But she was relying on the convenience of just one device because she can't possibly have 2. And also she said that many of the 30,000 emails that were deemed personal and deleted were to Bill Clinton. The same day, Bill Clinton's aide said that Bill Clinton has only sent 2 emails in his entire life and that was while he was president of the United States. And so Hillary just keeps sending him emails, nagging him about stuff. I don't know. But what if, because it was also stated that the private server was set up initially for Bill Clinton, supposedly, what if Hillary Clinton was sending emails as if she was Bill Clinton? Isn't that fraud? I know it's her husband, but isn't that still fraud?
Yeah, I think so. I mean...
And who the hell is Eric Hockenham? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
I couldn't get on her for that, though, because I do that all the time. Like, my girlfriend's phone will, buzz, and she's in the shower, and it'll be her friend, like, hey, when are you guys coming over? And I'll text them back, like, oh, just leaving now. I'm just picking up the Mel Gibson brand nacho cheese dip. Yeah, and they're like, what? And then Megan has to be like, that wasn't me. So, that happens in real life.
Yeah, I know. Fortunately for Hillary, Bill was always, in the shower or away from his phone or his email. He's like, I've sent 2 emails in my entire life, so you don't mind if I just send a few emails on your behalf, honey, do you? To my girlfriend, whom I have dating for some lesbianic, I don't know, a little bit of labia majora, some clitoris. Kyle, I know we only have you for a little bit limited time left. You have places to go, people to see. Can we get into a little bit of entertainment, as if Hillary Clinton's private emails weren't entertaining enough?
Sure. What have you been watching?
I've
What's
been
on the
on a movie
roster?
marathon. I've had a movie marathon lately.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my friend and I watched 3 movies in one day.
What movies?
Big Hero 6,
Okay.
the animated Disney, was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Get On Up, the James Brown story.
Okay.
Thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
All right.
And then I watched Kill the Messenger with Jeremy Renner playing Gary Webb. You might have heard it being talked about on Infowars.com. Freeway Ricky Ross was a character in the movie, and it had to
Oh
deal
yeah.
with basically the message that he was trying to convey was that the government and the CIA were behind cocaine and crack in the inner cities, and they were funneling drugs into America to fund the Contras in Nicaragua.
Oh yeah. What was that movie called?
It's called Kill the Messenger. I highly recommend it.
I'm gonna have to go check that out. You know what I watched last night?
What's that?
I watched Road Hard, Adam Carolla's new movie that just came out. It's a limited release in theaters, and then it's on VOD, Amazon Prime, on iTunes. We
Road
rented it
Hard?
on, huh?
Road Hard?
Yeah, Road Hard. It's kind of
And,
about
and,
like a,
and Put Away Wet?
huh?
Road Hard and Put Away Wet?
It's a
Nah.
movie about like it's loosely based on him and like somebody like a comedian who had a TV show and was doing really well, but now he's like 10, 15 years later and he's like back having to do the road and it kind of sucks. But the movie, it was all right. I'm kind of pissed at Adam Carolla still. Allison Rosen was in it for a scene, but there was somebody who was in it for like literally one scene. You see their face for like 1.5 seconds, and I'm watching. I'm like, and I rewind back, and I go back, and I pause, and there's a scene
What?
where he's like being offered like this game show, and he's going to be a game show host, and he's in front of like a room of like all like the TV executives, you know, and you only see his face for like maybe 2 seconds at most, no lines, nothing. But you know who played one of those TV executives? Sean fucking Stoned. Sean Stone was in a random scene, like, and I paused it. My girlfriend's like, she's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, that's Sean Stone. Which, for those who don't know,
I did watch a couple of good movies earlier this week. Nightcrawler, highly recommend that one. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I haven't seen that one either.
Nightcrawler, he becomes Nightcrawler, a freelance news camera guy, or like on the spot news coverage, and
Okay.
you know, he's always trying to race to the scenes to get the first video so they can sell it to the
get
news
the
stations
scoop.
and they can promote the violence on the streets and stuff like that.
Like Peter Parker.
Yeah, but the guy is psycho, and then he sort of like gets involved in the cases in a ethically questionable way, and I thought that was really good. And then I watched Fury with Brad Pitt, the tank movie.
Did you like it?
I really did.
I watched like 20 minutes and it was a bad copy, but
I didn't think
I'll give it another shot.
I did, and I'll tell you what, give it more than 20 minutes, because the first 20 minutes, give it, get to the second half, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it's because I love Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
he's all right.
They called him Bible.
What was the other one I was gonna tell you? Have you been watching? There's this show. It's from like HBO. It's on I think Hulu. I don't know what we've been. Maybe it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Bored to Death. It's got fucking what's his name?
Before.
Huh? Did I mention it before?
Yeah, you said Ted Danson's in it, right?
Yeah, anything with Ted Danson. I'm like, fuck yeah. Which I just forgot. And since we're at entertainment, I keep needing to look this up.
Ted Danson is in it.
Ted Danson's the shit. Like, all right, I keep meaning to look this up because I have no idea where this happened, but I have heard multiple references to the fact that Ted Danson at some point went blackface.
Yeah, he did.
And
when he was married to Whoopi Goldberg.
All right, here's pictures. How did this come about?
Married to Whoopi Goldberg?
I did not know that either. Wow. He was married. That's a fucking... If you're Ted Danson, like, I'm sorry, but you're on a different level than Whoopi Goldberg.
That was in, like, late 80s, early 90s, maybe?
And Whoopi Goldberg seems to be like sitting next to him, like laughing. She thinks it's fucking funny. 1993 at the Friars Club roast.
Yeah.
Fucking A. That guy's got fucking Ted Danson's so cool.
Wait, hold
Like, how do
on.
you get away with
Kyle,
that?
I'm bringing up the image on my screen. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at her right now. All right.
Look at this. He was
Fucking
married to Whoopi Goldberg.
blackface.
Ted Danson. Ted Danson. Of all the chicks you could get, you're married to Whoopi Goldberg, and then you show up at this event in blackface with a big. Yeah, yeah.
But think about it. Like, nobody can say shit. Like,
What
you
phase
can.
of his life was this?
Right? 93. But, like, I heard about it because I forget who it was, but there was a comedian on a podcast talking about how like you like look back and there are certain people who broke barriers and like did things that are like really edgy and stuff. And he's like, have I really ever done anything like that? Have I ever done anything historical? He's like, Ted Danson went blackface. He's like, I can't compete with that. He's like, Ted Danson is better than me. Like, but here's the thing, I didn't know he was married to Whoopi Goldberg. That's how he got away with it. Because like right when you see Ted Danson in blackface, you could be like, that racist fuck, but then it's like, he was married to Whoopi Goldberg. It's like, oh, well, she's black as fuck, so he can't be racist. We gotta go, we just can't be mad.
Wait a second. Look at this picture. It's like, hey, I'm married to Whoopi Goldberg. I need to have like more of like a fro, more of like an afro, or like a
Is that
Jericho
what was
or
going
something.
on?
I don't know. Look at his hair in that picture.
Ted Danson,
And
Whoopi Goldberg.
and man, yeah, that was. I don't think it lasted all that long. But
Fucking
there he
Ted
is. He
Danson.
was at the. He was at a speech or something. There he is in blackface with
It was a
Whoopi.
Friars Club roast.
Thinking with Whoopi sitting there smiling, thinking that's the funniest shit she's ever seen.
Yeah, she's like, fucking Ted Danson. Hilarious. All right, well, I gotta jump out of here. Are you
Now
gonna
he's got a
keep
new
going? Or
wife though.
Good for him. He's a
Yeah,
sexy man.
it's Mary Steinbergen. They're on Curb Your Enthusiasm together.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that seems much more up his alley. I don't know.
Wait, is he married? Is that the girl from fucking Back to the Future 3?
I think
Married
so.
to her?
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff. She's a good actress.
Yeah, the one from Back to the Future 3 who, yeah, holy shit, that's awesome.
If you say so.
Fucking, you did it again, Ted Danson. You wowed me.
There's no end to your surprises, Mr. Danson.
Yeah, there's really just, oh, here's a picture of fucking Ted Danson and Morgan Freeman, and they both have beards. God damn, Ted Danson, are you cool? Man, you're like the most handsome 70-year-old that exists. All right, I gotta jump out of
You
here.
survived the blackface appearance. You're just great, man.
Fucking cheers, Becker. Come on. Here's a picture of him with Will Smith. Fucking what a guy. All right, I gotta jump out of here. You gonna keep going, or are we closing up?
No, I'm good to go too. Kyle, happy birthday again, and great show today. Everyone, please find us on the internet by looking up themediaspeaks.com. If you fail to find us, you could be retarded.
Yeah, themediaspeaks.com, at themediaspeaks. The Media Speaks on Facebook, Twitter, no Instagram. We don't do that. And yeah, just type in the Media Speaks on the internet, find some stuff, read it, and once you're done, type in Ted Danson.